We made it to day 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome to day 3 of 30 days of rekindling our love here in the Billington household. Today, you get me, you get my point of view of the struggles. Joy's in Houston selling her books at an event. So we use today to both do our own videos and just give our own experiences of our marriage for 13 and a half years, and the things that we see and that we struggle with from our point of view. So for me, one of our biggest things in our marriage that we struggle sometimes is communication. And what I mean by communication is communicating our true feelings, communicating the expectations of each other, and not assuming that that person knows that expectations. And when they fail to do those expectations, that we don't hold it against them because we never spoke it. I think that's very important in a marriage is to be able to communicate those true feelings that you have. And that can be just a simple expectation as making a plate at a cookout or coming home, helping take off your shoes and rub your feet, you know, or just say your back is hurting. I shouldn't have to ask for a back massage when I made it known my back is hurting. But on her end, if I don't speak those words to her, she expects that I might just pop a pill and I just go about my business. Because typically, being a man, you're a tough guy. You just go about what you're doing, not really complaining about it. So that's part of the communication part. You know, Communication is very valuable, man. I would also say that's probably the number one thing in a marriage because you have to be able to communicate when you're sad, when you're happy, when things are not going right. And some people are afraid to express their true feelings, and that can hinder a marriage because you're hiding things when it comes to your true feelings. And that person loves you, and y'all working together. Y'all understand it and understand that growth happens in marriages. Another situation I think that struggles in our marriage sometimes is intimacy. And what is intimacy? Intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is the hand holds, the hugs, the kisses, the greetings when you walk through the door. It's the servant side of it sometimes in the intimacy. It's the quality time together. It's sitting on the bed watching a movie, cuddle up, rubbing hair, hand on the chest, like just little things like that. I mean, that intimacy. And yes, sex is a big part of it. And when a woman not feeling the sex part of it, she will withheld it sometimes. And sometimes the women, even when they do give the sexual part, if they're not all the way into it because they're not emotionally at that moment because they might be stressing about things in life, as a man, you feel those things and you feel like it becomes a task. And you don't want sex to be a task. That should be an enjoyable experience amongst two loving people, especially in a marriage. So I would definitely say communication, intimacy was a big part of our struggles in our marriage. Um, another one is just finding time for each other, taking the time to go on date nights, taking the time to do the little things. Those little things are so important. The flowers, the filling up her car with gas, the car washes. For the man side, for me is the little things of having a meal ready after a long day. If I'm cutting the grass outside, she brings me water and a rag to clean my face. Those little things are very important. And when you get in the marriage for 13 and a half years, sometimes you can forget those little things. So I'll tell you now, I think another big thing is the foundation of your marriage. If your foundation of marriage is God, you need to not let him leave the marriage. And you need to work double time to make sure that he stays in the marriage in the foundation. And for us, we get caught up in life sometimes. Sometimes we forget to sit down and pray together, sit down and read the Bible together, set ourselves up with the shields of God in this world, because this world is an evil place. There's people out here that have no care. The things that you have to deal with. There's women hitting on myself. There's men hitting on my wife in church, in the workforce. I mean, these are things that happen on an every day. And if you're not built and you're not have that foundation of God, It's easy to falter for these things. So I will tell you, man, you got to put God and have God first in that place. In any marriage, in any household, you need to pray over your kids. You need to do these type of things. But these are the type of things that can cause friction in your marriage. And these things that need to be talked about on a regular basis. And not just at the beginning when you're trying to court each other and when you first get married and you're in the honeymoon stage. These are the things you got to do 10 years later, 13 years later. You still need to talk about these things. You need to have a vision. You need to talk about the visions of the future. That's another part that was a struggle in our marriage is, our visions. Like, where was our visions? We made it to where we wanted. When we first got married, it was to get a house, have cars, have a picket fence, white fence in the backyard, the American dream. Well, what happens when you get the American dream? Does it just end there? And for us, sometimes we got complacent where we are. So we're working on that to continue to be visionaries and continue to push ourselves further and further than where we are to this point today. So don't want to tell it all today, but I definitely want y'all to get my point of view of some things that I feel like men do struggle in marriages. And if you have any questions, comments, please leave it at the bottom. We'll get back to you. On my end, I definitely will get back to you. Again, we're day 3. Prayer is working. I promise you, God is good, man. You your prayers in God, you pray to Him, He can change the hearts of things that you think that couldn't be changed, my guy. So I'm telling you, man, I was ready to go, but God has got me feeling good. I feel on fire. My love feels on fire, Lord. And it's day 3. I can't wait to see what 30 days do, what mountains are moved. Well, I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow on day 4. I pray that God continues to bless us. And day 4 is more flamingly hot than today. So love, be grace. Ellington's out.
Hello, everyone. It is day 3 of our 30-day journey. And as you can see, Will and I are not together. Will is at home and I am away. I had a book signing today in Houston. It went fabulous. I'm so excited about that. And I'm even more excited about the support that I received from my husband. He wrote me this beautiful note of encouragement before that I found in my box of books. So I appreciate that. And also, I missed this call today, well, tonight actually, and he left me a voicemail praying because we did make that commitment to pray twice a day. And I just thank you, baby, from the bottom of my heart. That put a smile on my face. Now, so let's get into the video of today. It's centered around what's one thing that we feel like we struggled with the most in our marriage. And so I'm going to dive right into it. For me, it was the part of me not knowing completely how to climb the ladder in corporate and still be a mom and still be a wonderful wife to my husband. And I didn't find that out until recently. I say within the last year that it was things that I was not doing as a wife that my husband needed from me, right? And the communication sometimes suffered because I thought I was giving him everything that he needed. I would do my best to make sure that before I left for any type of work travel, work event, the kids were taken care of. We kind of figured out meals. It became real routine and not necessarily what is it that you need from me emotionally, spiritually. Intimacy, I think for the most part, we had it down packed when it comes to, hey, you're about to be gone for a while. Go ahead and give me some sugar. However, it was plenty of times that, it was, hey, I gotta do this, I gotta send this report, I don't have time. And then it just became a habit. And us not talking about it, it was time left in between that festered and turned into frustration on my part and as well as his part. So that's one of the struggles I think that we dealt with from my perspective, and also raising babies, navigating having multiple kids. We have 4 kids. So, we started off with one, we learned how to manage, then we had two. We learned how to manage, things got a little complicated then. And then we had three, and then we had four. And so when, all these babies came, we kind of lost us and the intimacy part of it because we were so caught up in making sure everyone had what they needed when it came to diapers, when it came to being fed. And so it's just now us taking the time out to just remind ourselves that, hey, we still have feelings, we still have emotional needs that need to be met, and we need to be very intentional about spending that time with one another, communicating, and making sure that we are the head of this household, right? And if we're not together and if we're not at our best, then how can we show up for our family in this space? So that's just a little bit on my perspective as one of the things that we struggle with in our marriage.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.